Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including new price drops, why you still might want to wait to buy, Tesla's latest new product, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, we talked in my last video about the latest for Tesla's next generation vehicle platform. We know it will be made in Texas instead of Mexico for initial production, and now that Elon's biography has officially released, there are two interesting renders of Tesla's robotaxi. Considering both of these are shared in this book, it's likely Tesla will be heading a different direction, but this photo of Franz von Holzhausen with an early robotaxi mockup is shared in the book. This is a very simple look at it, but the full official Tesla concept is shared later on in the book when talking about Tesla going all in on autonomy in 2022. This shows a very futuristic, cyber-like design, taking elements from all of Tesla's vehicles thus far. It has seats like those from the Roadster, it looks somewhat like a Cybertruck, and has doors that function like the Model X. All of this, compiled with Tesla's FSD functionality, is what would make this project in the future. Elon has confirmed recently, in response to this, that the robotaxi will look like the future, but seemingly not the $25,000 Tesla. I imagine timeline-wise that Tesla will ship more of a normal car, and then utilize that same platform for a vehicle similar to this concept. One of the biggest changes from this design will likely stray from it having three wheels. In the past, Elon has been critical of three-wheel vehicles from a design perspective. In 2020, he said, "Can't support three-wheel vehicles, not safe enough." While this could change if Tesla can make them safer, it very well may be a reason we're seeing this render in public now. It's Tesla's vision, but will change a lot before it gets released. Next up today, it looks like Tesla has officially launched the next generation of a very important product, the Powerwall. This is their third generation of residential energy storage products, and they've just begun installing them. One owner named Andy has been tracking the whole process on Tesla Motors Club, sharing pictures along the way when he got his installed. The installer reportedly told them this was only the third Powerwall 3 that he's done so far. It contains the inverter, which we can see in this photo. It's about 2 inches shorter, 6 inches narrower, and 1 inch thicker than the Powerwall 2. Andy also posted a photo of a side panel, which reveals that it's still a lithium-ion battery instead of lithium iron phosphate. Elon actually responded to these photos, saying, "PW3 is optimized for ease of installation and high power, which means that a single Powerwall can serve as an uninterrupted power supply for most homes. This is a big deal for ensuring that the lights stay on and you can power all your devices in the event of a power outage." Ease of installation definitely seems to be something Tesla still needs to work on, though, because Andy's experience was dragged out several days longer than was initially quoted. That may just be the installer's fault, which is completely separate from Tesla, but it does seem like there could be more communication from Tesla regarding the installation process nonetheless. Also, it could just be that this is different and new. Several days after this leak, Tesla added the Powerwall 3 to their website, officially revealing specs. It'll have the same energy capacity as the Powerwall 2, but include 2 additional solar inputs and the integrated solar inverter I mentioned. It can then provide 11.5 kilowatts of continuous power both on and off the grid. That's a 64% increase in off-grid power output over the Powerwall 2. On top of that, it can handle temperatures between -4 degrees Fahrenheit and 122 degrees Fahrenheit, so it should work fine in most garages in America. It's also dust and flood resistant in up to 2 feet of water. System expansion is still available anytime, and the system is 16% lighter than Powerwall Plus at 287 pounds. While Tesla has already been installing some of these, their website officially says that it will be coming in 2024. This is very exciting to see because the Powerwall is a massively important product for the future. Ease of install is key, and they appear to be designing this for that first and looks second. Still, it has a sleek Tesla look, and this is a product that will keep Tesla competitive in this space. Not only that, but it is what enables customers to join programs like Tesla's virtual power plant. In the short term, this means owners can earn money sending power to the grid when it's in need. In the long term, this means that a whole area can have their power stabilized, thanks to thousands of customers having these installed in their homes. It's quite an amazing system, and I'm excited to see Tesla improving this product. Next up today, there's always a lot going on with Tesla's pricing, and the biggest impact we're going to see in the near future is the release of the refreshed Model 3. Tesla has launched this in Europe and China, with first deliveries imminent, but it still has yet to be announced in the US. According to various sources and Tesla delivery advisors themselves, this refreshed Model 3 won't be coming to the US until 2024, so that leaves many people in a weird limbo. Do I buy a Model 3 now, or do I wait for this refresh? For most people, if they're going to be the same price, the upgraded Model 3 is worth it. But Tesla has to push sales in the meantime, which is leading to some heavy discounts for inventory cars. Tesla has had inventory discounts in place for a bit now, but they're now starting to increase. Depending on your area, there are Model 3s available as low as $36,220 brand new from Tesla. Here's one in Florida. Outside of inventory, that car runs $40,240. So finding one in inventory for $36,220 is a full $4,020 off, and that's prior to a referral discount of $500. If you use anyone's Tesla referral code when completing this purchase, you'll stack that to be $4,520 off the new price prior to any government incentives. In New York and Los Angeles, I can see new Model 3s at $37,020. That's $3,220 off, and will go up to $3,720 off when using a referral link. In Texas, they're matching the Florida price as well at $35,720 with the referral discount. Then, of course, depending on your financial situation, there's a $7,500 tax credit, which could theoretically bring you down to $28,220, and then there are state and utility incentives. Stacking all of these can get you under $30,000 on a new Model 3, and that's very impressive. It's also impressive to see this car coming back down near its original $35,000 goal prior to any incentives, and it shows that right now could be a great time to buy a Model 3. The Model Y is also seeing some pretty steep inventory discounts, as low as $44,400. Once again, this immediately comes down to $43,900 simply by using a referral link. That's around $4,000 off of a new Model Y as well, so it also makes it look like the right time to buy a Model Y. If you love these cars and what they deliver today, and that price makes sense, you should probably go for it. Stacking incentives in Colorado is even more impressive. Right now, I see a Model 3 at $38,630 in inventory in Colorado. Subtract $500 for the referral discount, and you're at $38,130. Then Colorado gives you $5,000 off for an EV, and if you trade in a gas car, that's another $6,000. That's $27,130, and if you qualify, the tax credit theoretically brings you down to $19,630. Under $20,000 for a Model 3. That right there is somewhat of a no-brainer if you qualify, as incentives and vehicle pricing change all the time. For those outside of incentives though, the other thing to consider is, what if this is a bad time to buy any Tesla? Tesla is intentionally dropping these prices because customers know what's coming. The refreshed Model 3 is on its way in a few months and brings a lot of great improvements to the Model 3. After that as well, the Juniper Model Y is expected. It will take everything from the refreshed Model 3 and put it into the Model Y. In other markets, Tesla has been keeping pricing around the same, so you should be able to get this updated car next year for around the same price as today's new pricing. It's really a question of patience and whether those future features are worth a couple $1,000s for you. A $4,000 discount is pretty great to get a Model Y in inventory today, and we don't know how long of a wait the new Model 3 or Y will be in the US. But the new features it brings are a pretty big improvement in ways that matter, like ride quality and interior noise. For myself, I'm very much looking forward to those, but Tesla does deliver great cars today. For the Model S and X though, these are really specific cars. The Model S will soon have most of its features absorbed into the Model 3, and for the Model X, even with its recently lowered starting price, it's a very specific type of car. Competitors like the Rivian R1S are likely better options for many, especially with Tesla opening up their supercharger network. Overall, it's a very weird time to buy a Tesla, and if you always want the best features, this may be a period to sit back and wait for refreshes or price drops across the board. As always though, this is Tesla and it's impossible to time correctly. As for Tesla's supply though, one interesting thing is adding into the mix of US EV production. There's an impending strike by the United Auto Workers, something Tesla is not a part of. According to JD Power, quote, "Everyone's going to see higher prices regardless of the company you buy from if strike continues for more than 2 weeks. This could be especially harmful for companies like GM and Ford trying to compete with Tesla's EV pricing and margins. Depending on how long it lasts as well, it could have a compounding effect. Companies would be forced to cut production, meaning inventory will dwindle, and supply and demand drives prices up. In turn, this could lead people to consider Tesla even more, leading to more demand for Tesla's own vehicles. That could have a very positive side effect for Tesla and their delivery numbers. With that though, their cars may prove tougher to get as the quarter comes to a close and Tesla could respond with a price increase. One thing that may prevent this increase though is rising interest rates, now approaching 7% for 72 months on Tesla financing. Tesla has introduced 84-month loans to help out there with monthly payments, but over the long term you're still paying more with a 7.32% interest rate as well. There's a lot going on at all times, and while we try to navigate it all and time things best we can, it's truly unpredictable. As always, I'll say, if you're happy with the price and features delivered in a Tesla today, go for it. If they drop prices tomorrow, at least you know you were happy with what you bought. Next up today, the Tesla product that is potentially most exciting that most ignore is the Tesla Semi. A big part of this is because the Semi has been heavily delayed and is still very slow to scale up. As best we can tell, Tesla and Frito-Lay use them and no one else does. They're still in the initial phase of this program, however the Semi is proving itself. When Tesla finally delivered the Semi, they proved that it could drive fully loaded 500 miles on a single charge. This is something nobody expected they could actually deliver, but they proved it loaded to 82,000 pounds and driving from the Bay Area to San Diego. They started with a 97% charge and arrived with a 4% charge. The thing is, that's Tesla's testing, so we never quite know what the real world looks like until now. Several Tesla Semis are participating in an independent study done by the North American Council for Freight Efficiency. They have a program called Run on Less that tests several electric trucks in the real world and releases real-time data. For the first Semi in the test, they see it traveling an average of 416 miles per day. For the second Semi, it's doing 376 miles each day, and then the third is doing 545 miles per day. This data is just being released, so it will update each day with how these trucks are doing in the real world, and will likely get much more analysis about when they're charging and how and such. It's also unknown what these trucks were carrying, so we should get much more data on that in the future. It looks like real world may be underperforming 500 miles based on the charging stats, but hopefully we'll know more soon. Next up today, while we're seeing the early design concepts of a robotaxi that we talked about earlier, it all relies on the software to come to fruition. In this regard, one interesting thing to notice on Tesla's own FSD advertising is that FSD has arrived? For years now, Tesla has shown what features are included in the FSD package, and the function of auto steer on city streets has said coming soon. It said this when I ordered my Model Y in 2019, and said it until recently. In that time, they've been working on FSD as a whole, but have especially been working on auto steer on city streets. This is where it's the most challenging and important for something like a robotaxi to actually function. In that process, the FSD package has gone through a ton of price increases and one decrease. In April of 2019, it was $5,000. In May, $6,000. August, $7,000. July of 2020, $8,000. January 2022, $12,000. September, $15,000. And then for the first time ever, this month they lowered the FSD package back down to $12,000. That move is odd and seems to signal that either nobody is buying this or Tesla actually thinks it will take longer than expected and needs to reflect that in the price. Today, the FSD beta is available to pretty much anyone with the FSD package that requests it. There are certain random delays with software versions, hardware 4.0 and such, but overall you should be able to get it. That said, it's very much a beta. It requires active driver monitoring of the system, and at the end of the day, if it crashes, you're the one that's responsible. You have to be there to take over. Long term, of course, this is not the vision of this software. In any case, Tesla for the first time has changed the wording of their FSD capability on their website. Now it shows that auto steer on city streets is included. So essentially, the FSD beta as it comes today is considered a fully delivered feature with the FSD package at $12,000, even with all its flaws. However, Tesla has added new language to specify, quote, your car will be able to drive itself almost anywhere with minimal driver intervention and will continuously improve. I've been using the FSD beta for around a month now, and I'd agree with this wording. In most scenarios, it can drive itself with minimal interventions, but of course there's no mention in there of how good of a driver it is. Is this a professional chauffeur or a teenager getting their permit? I'd say it leans a little more learner's permit at this point, and that's what all of this data should improve over the long haul. They're also very clear at the end that the currently enabled features require active driver supervision and do not make the vehicle autonomous. The activation and use of these features are dependent on achieving reliability far in excess of human drivers and demonstrated by billions of miles of experience, as well as regulatory approval, which may take longer in some jurisdictions. As these self-driving features evolve, your car will be continuously upgraded through over-the-air software updates. It's actually interesting to see these terms because with the added language above that, they're being pretty careful. They don't seem to be promising self-driving where you needn't pay attention. For me, I've expected that Tesla would remove the coming soon language when a big development happened, but they seem to have just changed course here on what they're promising. This is both disappointing from a technology standpoint and good for what Tesla actually promises for this package. I think it's a bit clearer what you actually will get delivered in this package if you purchase it. Last up today, some updates from other automakers. Volvo has teased an electric minivan, the EM90. They called it a Scandinavian living room on the move, and the premium multi-purpose vehicle will make its global debut on November 12th. Even though they show a shot of an actual living room in the teaser video, it'll likely only be inspired by a living room with a spacious and comfortable interior. Volvo is owned by Geely, who also owns Zeekr, so this new van may end up looking like the Zeekr 9. That van only seats 6, but comes with a bunch of luxury features like massaging seats in the front, captain's chairs for all passengers, and 5 screens. We can expect Volvo to carry over a lot of these features into the EM90, but we'll have to wait until November when more details are announced. BMW has teased their next generation EVs that are set to debut in 2025. Those will come with, quote, 30% more range, 30% faster charging, and a 25% overall improvement in efficiency. First is a sedan with an entirely new design from BMW. Their signature kidney grille is merged with the headlights, giving the front of the vehicle more of a shark nose. The interior is minimalistic and asymmetrical, which is unique. This is part of their plan to launch 6 new class electric models in the next 2 years. In a video presentation, they teased a new SUV but didn't release any specs. If it gets a 30% range increase from the iX3 though, that would be a 370-mile range. These Vision new class models will also come with a bunch of new tech features, including a new heads-up display on the bottom third of the windshield. That'll project active driving information complete with 3D animations right in front of the driver. I test drove a Mercedes EQS with a similar feature, and it's definitely very cool. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see a full breakdown of the latest for Tesla's upcoming affordable EV, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.